April 27th, 2018. The day that shook my world. It toyed and stretched my nostalgia into tears. While the world is currently freaking out about the Mad Titan's journey into the big screen in Marvel's newest film Infinity War, I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting. Growing up, Thanos was one of my favorite comic book villains, only second to Ultron. I mean, who couldn't love this ant-themed robot?
But how? With violence.
I remember when I first discovered the Infinity Gems, Adam Warlock, Mistress Death, Eternity, you name it. And you know what I've got to thank for discovering this revolutionary piece of Marvel's mythos? Mega Man.
Thanos reigns!
Okay, well, it wasn't exactly just Mega Man. It was more Mega Man being present in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Marvel vs. Capcom!
I freaking love Marvel vs. Capcom. I remember finding this arcade cabinet in my local mall's arcade. The only reason I popped quarters into the machine was because Mega Man was on the cabinet art, and I couldn't help it. It was so fucking cool. And I remember thinking, oh shit, Spider-Man's there too! I literally had no idea who any of these other characters were at the time. Sure, a lot of people in my family were huge comic book nerds, and I thought the characters like Spider-Man and Daredevil were cool. Don't judge me, I was little. And you know what the only move I used as Mega Man was? Yep, I exclusively only used his hard punch, because to me, that's the only move that Mega Man should be using. Little 6-year-old me thought that it was heresy that the normal shots were blue and the charged shots were orange. This game served as a bit of a gateway drug into what would later become a full addiction to all things comic books. This game got me so pumped about Marvel that I rented every Marvel encyclopedia I could find from my local library. War Machine? Who the fuck is War Machine? He looks just like Iron Man. Venom? Oh, I kinda know Venom. He was from that really cool movie. And then it piqued my interest in characters that weren't even in this game, like Juggernaut, Rogue, and Ant-Man. All these characters that I'd later grow to love. Once I discovered how to use emulators on my own when I was about 9 or 10, one of the first games I downloaded with this was Marvel vs. Capcom. This game holds a dear place in my heart, but could you believe that this isn't the first Marvel fighting game that Capcom's made? And no, I'm not talking about the first Marvel Capcom crossover, X-Men vs. Street Fighter. No, that title actually belongs to X-Men, Children of the Atom. But we're not going to talk about that game because I've barely ever played it. The second game to my knowledge is the game that we're going to be talking about today, Marvel Superheroes. Released in arcades in 1995, and later ported to the Sony PlayStation and Sega Saturn in 1997, Capcom broadened their Marvel roster from exclusively X-Men characters to, as the title suggests, just Marvel Superheroes. This marks the Capcom arcade debut of Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, Blackheart, Shuma-Gorath, Doctor Doom, Hulk, and at the very end, Thanos the Mad Titan. Remember all that self-reflecting I was talking about, how Thanos for a long time was one of my favorite comic book villains? This game is the reason for that. Who the fuck is this goofy-looking McDonald's Grimace, and how is he able to throw rocks at me and bubbles and crush me between these walls? Well, consulting the Marvel Encyclopedia, which, no joke, I initially got just to read about Thanos, implied that he is one of the most dangerous characters in the Marvel Universe. That right there piqued my interest, and later led me discovering and reading the Infinity Gauntlet series. Those little gems you collect in Marvel Superheroes, those aren't just gameplay elements, those are grounded in lore. These are the Infinity Gems. 6 crystals that each control certain aspects of the universe. Time, space, reality, mind, soul, and power. Growing up with my very minute collection of video games and movies that I enjoyed, this is way different than anything else I'd known about. Who the hell is Galactus, Doctor Strange, and oh hey, Doctor Doom. I know him, he was from that one movie with that one orange rock dude and that actor who will probably never be relevant again.
How do you guys,
That's none of your business!
Okay, alright, I'm just concerned. I'd hate to wake up one morning and find out she was killed in a rock slide.
The game is rather traditional, and the story is very loosely based off of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. You can briefly make out the Infinity Gauntlet itself on the title screen before all the other characters come in and flood the scene. Really all they borrowed from the comics was the Infinity Gems and Thanos as the big bad. It's your standard run-of-the-mill arcade stick fighter. You've got your normals, your fireballs, and your DPs. The only gimmick this time is the Infinity Stones that can completely change how your character behaves by inputting a particular button command. You can use the stone you have selected to change how your characters behave, and if you've played the newest installment in the Marvel vs. series, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, this might sound familiar to you. There's only 10 playable characters, plus Dr. Doom and the Mad Titan himself, with 4 of the characters taken from the previous X-Men fighting game that Capcom had developed. Maybe I'll check that out in the future video. You'll be fighting these 12 characters in the arcade mode in standard fighting game fashion. If you're unfamiliar with the Marvel vs. Capcom games, the only thing that really sticks out in these games over, say, Street Fighter, in Street Fighter only certain moves can chain into other moves, forcing its players to be a lot more strategic with what they follow up their moves with. And though that still remains true in the Marvel vs. series, nearly any standard move can be cancelled into another move, making combos a lot more fun. You can argue that lowering the skill cap in a fighting game draws a lot of your hardcore player base away, and that's kind of how I felt about Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but looking back, I'd actually argue that it's the other way around for this series. Though I think that the gameplay is tuned to near perfection in future installments, this is a good step in the right direction, and it's a bit more casual than, say, Street Fighter 2, but yeah, I'd say this game and later Marvel vs. Capcom games keep a nice balance between complexity versus simplicity. Back to this game though, I remember growing up having a huge fascination with Juggernaut. He was an assist character in the first Marvel vs. Capcom game, and then going back and being able to play as one of those characters that was benched in MVC1 was a crazy idea for me. He's fucking huge, his punch reaches halfway across the entire screen, so naturally I had to take him through the arcade mode. I did pretty well. I didn't lose up until I got to Thanos himself, and I even got pretty close to beating him. The game does have some balancing issues. Spider-Man in particular gave me a lot of problems, especially with his Spider Sting move, but the Infinity Gems gave a great opportunity for shifting the balance. I couldn't help but feel like a lot of my button commands weren't going through. Juggernaut Punch, which is activated by doing a half circle forward and a punch, was working great at first, but then by the end I was struggling to get it to work. I had a feeling it had something to do with the game's slowdown, which is especially present near the end of the game. There was a fuck ton of slowdown. Maybe it was just the port, but god, it was really tricky getting these combos going. Especially Thanos. God, this guy lives up to the expectations, especially with eyebrows that massive. What the fuck is with those helmet eyebrows? His mugshot doesn't even have the— why? But it doesn't take long for that goofiness to wear off. God damn, this guy's tough. One slip up and he punishes you hard. He uses all of the Infinity Gems you've been collecting just to whoop your ass with them. Thor, can you wake up for a second and get your pal Beta Ray Bill? I need that axe! I tried everyone I knew that I was decent with in the future games. Captain America, Wolverine, Magneto. If it wasn't for their ability to fly, I don't know how I would have beaten them. Man, I'm sorry, I admit it, I'm bad at video games.
Oh, damn. Oh no! Oh no. Oh no.
But with that said, I was finally able to defeat the Mad Titan with Iron Man. Iron Man tries to wield the Infinity Gauntlet on his own just to say, nah, this shit's lame, and that's it. That's the ending. I really wanted to go through this game and see all the other characters' endings, but after spending about 2 hours trying to beat Thanos on my own, I thought, it's not worth it. But that doesn't mean the internet doesn't exist. Psylocke ditches the stones to spend more time with the X-Men, Shuma Gorath decides to take over the universe, Blackheart's told to give the Infinity Gems to Mephisto just before saying nah fuck you and takes over the universe himself, Captain America greets Thor, who's wearing that same strange mask he wore in the Infinity Gauntlet comics, just before throwing the Infinity Gems into a black hole. Would that even work? I can't recall any origins of the Infinity Gems in the comic, and the wiki isn't being too helpful, but wouldn't you think that you should scatter the stones instead of throwing them into a black fucking hole? No fucking wonder Steve got Magneto creates a second moon for the Earth where mutants can live in peace? Without oxygen too, apparently. Think of it kinda like Space Genosha. Genosha, that's it, right? Yeah, Genosha. Spider-Man returns home to Mary Jane and whoa, Andrew Garfield! Garfield, you're gonna be a dad! Wolverine does some self-reflecting and oh, look at this dude! Hulk gets the upper hand on Thanos before calmly telling him that he doesn't take requests and whoa, what the fuck is going on? And Juggernaut almost gets the Infinity Gauntlet but is cockblocked by Adam Warlock at the last second. If that doesn't sum up Adam Warlock's role in the Infinity Gauntlet series, I don't know what does. And that, my friends, is Marvel Superheroes for the arcades. What do you think I should look at next? Let me know in the comments down below, and please don't make me play X-Men Children of the Atom. I hope you enjoyed going down memory lane with me. It was a lot of fun to go through. If you really liked my content, go ahead and hit subscribe and maybe like the video too. We've got a podcast going on called the Dash Boots Podcast. Here's a clip.
Hey Trav,
Yeah.
is there like anything regarding Mega Man coming out today?
Okay. Alright, we're getting to the big guns already. Just...
They really didn't have They didn't have a pro budget for this, did they?
Then I'm like, I'm hungry. I can't cook anything. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe to join this little family we've got going on, and have a great night, and see you later.